Good evening, everybody. Spirit of 420 here, because everything I do is so 420, like the way I spark a bowl every time I start the show, or joint, or bong, or whatever weed smoking utensil I feel like using at the time. If you don't know his name by now, this is screened, but I just gave it a new name. And I can't remember it. I think it was something like Never Ending. Anyway, good eye. I just keep getting better and better making coffee. No offense. But when your world revolves around coffee and weed, you want to smoke the finest weed and drink the finest brew, right? Tonight is a flick dick investigation. Have quite a few. Well, not quite a few. I have 3. And I am going to see a new one tomorrow, so I'll have one coming up soon. Another one. As most of y'all know, I'm a movie buff, so I do love to go see movies. I also love to watch good shows, and I love comedy. So I actually have a little bit of everything. I have a film today. A series that I've been telling you I've been watching, but I finally got it done. And a stand-up special. And those to me are some of the best stand-up specials. And I'll just say this. If you haven't, in regards to stand-up specials, I have a top 5. 2 of those top 5, I'll give you right now. One of them is Maurice. Oh, my God. And I forgot his name. Elephant in the Room is the name of it. Oh, look at there. Now I have to. Patrice. Not Maurice, Patrice. There we go. Patrice O'Neill. God, why did I don't know why I had Maurice in my head. Patrice O'Neill, the late Patrice O'Neill. He is no longer with us. I think this was his final special, not necessarily his final performance, but his final tape special, that was meant to go out. Elephant in the Room is one of the funniest, rude comedy shows ever. And what I mean by that is there's no fear. And I'm bringing these up for a reason. And then the other one, one of my all-time favorites is just recently actually acquired it. I've already got Patrice, but is a guy named Chris Porter, Ugly and Angry. And he does a stand-up. This thing now is probably, God, I don't even know when it came out. It was a while ago, but this is definitely in my top 5. If you have not watched those 2, I swear to you, find them, rent them. You will bust a gut. You also bust a gut on this one, but this one's on Netflix right now. So, and that'll segue right in. I'll start with the stand-up. Jim Jefferies, High and Dry. Oh my God. I watched the preview just for a second. I was like, babe, we got to watch this. First of all, I already love Jim Jefferies as it is. I've seen his stand-up multiple times. I've loved every one of them. I also loved his show, Legit. I thought it was legit. I don't know what the word for it, but it was rude and in your face and politically incorrect. Some of the things that I love most when it comes to laughing, right? If we can't laugh at ourselves and we take things too seriously, then we get where we are, which is where we are. So when it comes to comedy, I really do like comedians that break the rules and don't care, right? And Jim is one of those. By the way, the other two that I mentioned, definitely. And you should watch the Patrice O'Neill just because the guy's dead, if nothing else. He even forecasts his death in that performance, by the way, on a side note. But back to High and Dry. I will say this. He changed my views on things. His bit on koalas was absolutely hysterical. And if you can't tell, just from the name of it, and Jim even talks about this, so yeah, here's a spoiler alert. If you don't want to hear this, look away, whatever, don't listen. But it is called High and Dry. So put that together. The guy no longer drinks. He now just smokes a lot of marijuana, right? Which, quite frankly, as a spirit of 420, I couldn't get enough of that. He also talks about gays and trans. He also talks about some other shit too. And it's just good fucking hilarious stuff. It is raunchy. He also talks about marital sex. Because Jim is married now too, right? Couldn't ask for a better show. This reminded me of as comedians get older, they have a lot to live up to, especially if they've had like a great special in the past, one that like people still talk about today, right? So Jim has done a few that let's just say he had a lot to live up to, and it was an absolute knockout. Even if you have seen all of Jim Jefferies, it's all new material. Number one, number two, he upped himself, he upped his game, and that's all you can ask for. Plus, dude's clearly gotten a little bit of healthy because his belly was not what it used to be. So, Jim Jefferies, I give that a 97. I mean, there's hardly any flaws in it at all. 97 out of 100. It was absolute must see. Go to Netflix and fucking watch it tonight. So next on the agenda, let's go with Wednesday, which is an Addams spinoff. Number one, Addams Family spinoff, I should say, for those of you who don't know when I say Addams, what I mean. Addams Family has been around for years, as many people know, and they kind of do things in twos, which I only just caught on to. And what I mean by that is the original show was only out for 2 seasons. Funny enough, I thought it was much longer than that. My memory of it as a kid was much longer. Number two, the cast that got together and did films with Barry Sonnenfeld. They did 2 films and quit. Now that one was due to the fact that what is his name? He played Gomez, and all of a sudden I have forgotten the guy's name, but the guy that played Gomez in the Addams Family live action films from the early 90s died. Raul Juul died before they could make another one. So I believe they would have kept going because those were both hits and did very well. It was the first time that we got to see Thing Mobley do his thing, right? So that's 2. Next, they've recently done a cartoon over the last few years, or several years, I guess maybe 5, 6. They've done a computer animated version, which right now they're only at 2, and I haven't seen them plans for more because they both were complete flops and somewhat failures. So I'm hoping as I go into this that Wednesday may break that mold, although it may just go 2. It has the potential clearly to do more. I will say that from watching the first one, but it also has the potential to simply stop at the end of 2. It could do that. And we'll just have to wait and see. Right. What was I going to say? Sorry, I got interrupted. Kids and all. So as a show, only 8 episodes. This is season 1. Each episode is roughly speaking 30, 35 minutes, give or take. Maybe a little bit longer, maybe a little bit shorter. And they had a lot of new faces. What I mean by that is a lot of young talent that I had not seen before. Just one second. I do apologize, but when you have children, even live streaming, kids take precedence, right? Wednesday, a lot of young faces, a lot of young talent, faces I had not seen before, and I imagine I will start to see again because I thought they really did it well. The entire thing from beginning to, it's also, so you just to know, and I believe it was probably the first, I know it was the first 2, but it's, lots of times what they do is the first 2 and then the last 2 when they have a key director, right? And Tim Burton was the director chosen that, pretty much headed up the thing. Having said that, even the ones that I don't know which ones for sure, I'm pretty sure it's the first 2 and the last 2. In the sense of the other 2, but I know it was at least the first 2. Again, I've seen them do this several times, and all I have to say is I didn't really feel like anything was dropped. The transfer of directors was done pretty well when you talk about a series, and that's not always easy. Sometimes you have episodes that shine simply because they were directed by the right person. In this case, I thought that the whole series shined. It was also one that in a day and age when we don't have commercials and we don't wait a week for the most part, especially with Netflix, right? When we don't do that with Netflix for each episode, it really got me wanting to watch the next one. Each one ended on its own little cliffhanger, which is fucking, I think it's kind of cool, because if you are one that only watches an episode every couple days, then you're waiting for that answer, and you may not wait as long when it's a cliffhanger. Oh, by the way, who's going to get the laugh here? I don't have to say anything. I'll probably get age restricted for just showing it in that. Showing it to you like that. But my God, I'm pretty sure the artist had something in mind here. Anywho, Wednesday, the main chick, I think it's Gina Ortega. Is that her name? Am I saying that right? Yeah, Gina Ortega. She was just cute little bomb, honestly. And I'm not talking about, I'm not going over the line because I don't know how old she is, but I'm talking about she was cute as a button, sharp as a whip, and just her timing was money. There was a few places that you could tell she's still a youngster, right? So she'll get better. I have a strong feeling season 2 will be a much better. They'll just get better with certain things simply because they're now a better team. It always happens that way, So I don't foresee that not being the case when they go through, when they do season 2. So overall, in regards to everything else, the special effects, the town in which they were, there was some things. I mean, obviously, ever since Harry Potter, we get a lot of these type of things now where it's a school thing. But what the fuck? It's actually it makes for a great story, and seems like something that would be the case for these type of folks anyway, if they actually lived, if you will, out of the closet the way that they do in this series, which is also fun too. I love ghosts and ghouls and that kind of shit. So I grew up with, what is it? I was just singing it. Monster. The monster, whatever it is. I love that fucking shit. Bash. There it is. Monster Bash. So Wednesday, been waiting for it. I give it an 86. Very strong, very good, and it really I'm looking forward and waiting and very eagerly, if you will, on the next season. So last but not least, Ant-Woman and the Wasp Boy. Ant-Mania, Quantumania. I love how they made up that word just so they could have ant and man right beside each other, but that's cool. I get it. So I hope I don't piss anybody off here when I say this, but I'm just starting to get over the comic book movies. And I say that before I even got into the film, right? And I didn't look up the reviews for it, but I was on IMDb and there was just a list. It was showing a list of upcoming comic book movies because that's like a whole category. I mean, it's been that way for a while, but I mean, it's almost all that IMDb caters to. And I took a minute to go through the list. It was almost 50, just to give you an idea. And it went all the way up through 2026. And one of the ones that they announced, this isn't a spoiler, and if you don't know, then you'll be happy. But Avengers has got a new 2-parter that they're going to be releasing in 25 and 26 back to back, right? I don't know, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. The movie was good. It was solid. It was a solid Marvel, stepping out of that little bit of me that's tired of comic book movies, if you will, and just judging it based on, what it was. It was good. It was good production. The acting was pretty good for the most part, although, just between you and me, and I mean no disrespect to any of these women that do it, but the more these women get facelifts and things like that to continue looking young, sorry, Pfeiffer, if you don't know you're the one, then you're the one. It just doesn't look good. It just doesn't look good. I think it was Dennis Leary years ago made fun of folks because it looks like, they start to become a lizard and they all start looking the same because you're just stretching. And here's the thing, when I see somebody, and there's a bunch of them now, Meg Ryan, I would have never thought, oh man, she does not look good. Ellen DeGeneres is, if it's not, then something's just going wrong there, but it looks like surgery's gone bad to me. There was somebody else that I had in mind that I just saw recently. And you know what? I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how much fame you have. Be yourself, and be okay with yourself, or fucking don't be. And surely don't be an idol to people, because you're so not okay with who you are that you've got to stretch your skin uncomfortably so under the knife, under surgery. I mean, think about that for a minute. This isn't political. This is just common sense. This is health. This is, to me, being 100% okay with yourself, period. If you're not okay with yourself, then I get it. And what I mean by I get it is you're going to do what you're going to do. But the fact is, if you are truly happy with yourself, then you do not need to go get any kind of surgery to improve you, because you're just fine. Excuse me. You're just fine the way you are, period. If you got some belly, you got some belly. If you got stretch marks, you got stretch marks. You got bags, got bags. It fucking happens. We all get it. We all get older. Stop acting like you're going to reverse it. Because here's the sad thing. When you try to save face, and these people, they don't think about it, but to me, they are no different than the gentleman losing hair that either does the comb over, or even worse, gets a squirrel on top of their head, a dead squirrel. Because here's the thing. We all see it and think the same thing. Why did you do that? Do you think anybody actually means it when they tell her, oh, you look great? Do you think they really mean it? Or do you think they're just saying it because she's rich and famous and most likely their friendship may depend on it? And if you're another rich and famous person, well, of course you're going to say it looks good because you probably did the same thing or plan on doing it. Having said that, the movie as a whole, I mean, I'm sorry, I just have to finish this. What's crazy is they have her standing there beside Michael Douglas, who has not done anything. As far as I can tell, his father got old gracefully and looked fucking cool as shit. Kirk Douglas was a badass when he died, in my opinion. And Michael will be the same way if he were to die today. I mean, to me, I think he's a badass. Funny enough, though, I think his wife is doing it. I'm pretty sure Kathryn Zeta-Jones, who was in, by the way, Wednesday, she looks like she's doing something, and she seems like she would. I mean, not to sound rude at all, but I wouldn't even hesitate that she would probably get some work done. So, back to the movie. First of all, in regards to story, let's just start there. In regards to story, it was awesome. We got to see MODOK, how MODOK started. That's not a spoiler. It's just awesome. MODOK's been around for years, so if you don't already know who he is, well, to me, it's not a spoiler. It's time to play catch up. And I'm not talking about mustard and mayonnaise, and you'll relish the moment that you figure it out. But in regards to timeline and all that, we also got Kang. So the introduction of him was there. And I do like the guy same guy. This guy is clearly, I don't know his name. Excuse me, Jonathan Majors. I'm pretty sure that's the guy that plays Kate. He's going to be around for a while, I have a feeling. He was in Devotion, which I did an investigation on that. Very good film. And he really did well as Kang. I thought he played his character well. I thought the acting, like I said, from pretty much most everybody was spot on. It was kind of disappointing, quite frankly, to see Bill Murray in it. As much as I love Bill Murray and a lot of the stuff that he's done in the past, and I will not ever stop loving a movie because of him, but now knowing who he is and potentially how he acts on on set with folks, I just think we're going to see less and less of him. And not only that, but it's no longer, it's a stain, really. Like, everything was cool, in the sense of all the people that were picked to play everybody, blah, 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 except Bill. I just like, God, man. Yeah, no wonder people pick you to always play that deadpan asshole, because that's just probably who you are. And, whatever. But that was slightly disappointing. And I knew it was coming, but I won't say much about it. One thing that, and my wife and I talked about it right afterwards, you got to give credit to these stars that are doing these type of movies, because, like at least Avengers, both of them, or actually, excuse me, the last two, which were heavy CGI, still had a lot of real life, on location and set type acting, right, where it wasn't just blue screen. But man, this one was like almost all blue screen. We sat there and watched the credits, and there's multiple things. I promise. There's like 1, 2, 3. I'm pretty sure there was 3 credit things. So stay until the very fucking end. But I will say this: as we were watching the credits and forced to read all the names in order to get that last little bit, you realize where, like, I mean, almost half of the names were there for graphics, and like that's all it was. And I give kudos to these actors, actresses. I just look at them all as actors now. To me, that's no genre type word. I give them pretty decent kudos for doing the job that they're doing, considering like 90% of their job now is in front of a green screen, many times with a fucking, basically a tight ass bodysuit with, little markers all over it. That I mean, kudos. That's all I can say, man, because you really have to work hard to put yourself in the place that you're supposed to be. It's not like they have it, shined up on the wall or something for these folks when they're doing it. So kudos to them. And I did enjoy Paul Rudd, as always. The young lady that was his daughter was good. Again, the acting was good. The directing was good. I don't know the person who directed it. It's not anybody that I know. He's probably an up-and-comer, like a lot of these Marvel directors will get new guys and give them a shot, right? There also wasn't anything spectacular, and because of the huge use of green screen, it was a little, what's the word? I don't want to say overwhelming, just boring, really, in that sense. So, I looked up afterwards. I mean, and I enjoyed my time there. But again, I just want to remind folks, I pay $18 a month and I can see as many movies as I want with that Regal Pass. So to me, even if I pay $3 is what I paid for this one, because it was IMAX and it was 3D, which made it a little more fun. And that makes it a little bit more enjoyable to sit in that theater anytime. So that's $3, but I mean, that's $3, it's just no big deal if the movie is not that great. So when I get out, was it worth sitting through? It was worth sitting through because I paid $3. Would I have enjoyed it had I paid in a 3D IMAX? It probably would have been close to $18 for that ticket. No bullshit. Probably would have been feeling a little taken advantage of, put it that way. I was a little disappointed. Overall, give it a 62. So I will say this, and I forgot to do this. So I forgot. I'll apologize. So I'll make it really quick. Shouldn't type. If I spell the name right, then that might help, right? So, they don't have any, what? Let's just see if I was looking to see, what I usually do is typically share what other places give it, and on Jim Jefferies, I can't really see. I'll say this. So IMDb gives it a 7.1, and then there's really no other information. So we'll just go to Wednesday. So Wednesday got IMDb gives it an 8.2. Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 71%. 96% of Google users liked it, and I don't see any other glaring, data on it. Ant-Man gets a 6.6, and you just heard me. I gave it a 62, so I don't even think it was as good as what they gave. Rotten Tomatoes 48%. Metacritic also 48%. However, 84% of Google users, unbelievable, liked it, right? But that's a real 84% of users gave it a thumbs up versus a thumbs down. That's a difference. I really wish Google would go ahead and add at least a 1 to 5 rating, because then you would have, even if you just do 1, 2, 3, you start to have a better idea, right? And I promise you, I don't think this one would have made it much over the 50% mark if people could give it, that 1 to 5 or any score other than just thumbs up or thumbs down, which is very, I liked it. I mean, I wouldn't pay for it. I wouldn't take my daughter to go see it. She would shred it. She's only 10. No, it wasn't that bad. It had some moments. I mean, I laughed out loud a couple of times. again, just not on my favorites list. So, looking back, Jim Jefferies, and I probably don't even remember the scores, but you just watched them. So, 95, Adams, I think I gave that. I know it was in the high 80s. It was really good. And then 62 for Ant and the Wasp, woman, lady, man, people, whatever the heck they are. Oh, you know what? Screw me. I forgot to put that up there. I'm a forgetful beasted. So it happens. I will be back. I do believe I'm going to have a guest for Saturday. Once I get the artwork, I'll go ahead and announce it. But you will know him as Hella. So Hella will be my guest for Saturday for a smoke sesh this weekend. I will be back on Thursday and also Friday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, those 3 days in a row. Thursday will be, I may just do another investigation and talk about, there's some other things I want to talk about. So might do that because I am going to see Marlo tomorrow from the new, oh my God, Taken, new Liam Neeson film. But this is Philip Marlowe. He's playing like the classic Philip Marlowe. And I think this is the first time, I'll have to look, but I'm pretty sure this is the first time they've done Philip Marlowe in live action. If not, then the last time was like back in the 50s or 60s or some shit. Obviously, if I do an investigation, I'm going to have that information before I see you on the next episode. Friday will be part 3 of the comical book reading of I'm sure you remember, but the panda. See, I put it up there in the top corner. That'll be Friday. And Saturday, like I said, will be Hello Smoke Sesh, and we'll get to know someone new, a new guest, and we'll go from there. Anyway, we're almost done with this season, by the way. The last episode will be, if I'm not mistaken, March 21st is the spring. First day of spring. 20th. So, actually the 5th. So March 5th will be the final episode of season 3. That'll be the season finale, just to let you know that now. Anyway, have a wonderful day. Have a blessed evening. Have a blessed tomorrow. Just remember this as I continue to remind each and every one of you. Part of the reason why I love having just regular folks or, other folks that are doing like I'm doing on here is because we all have something to give to this world. We're all special. We're all unique. Here's the messed up part about it. You may like me for one reason and you may not, but even if you are someone who may not agree with most of the things I do and you go and do all these other different things, you still have a purpose. Even the most evil piece of shit, and I'm not saying that that's you, but even the most evil piece of shit on the planet has a purpose. We all have a purpose. We all have our part of the puzzle. If you had really, as I've said before, how could you have a really, really good person, like a really strong individual that everybody agrees is just a pillar of, honor and respect and all that, if you didn't have the polar opposite? So you could only have one without the other, right? I love you all. Each and every one of you are unique and special, and you bring something awesome to the table. If you ever want to be a guest on the show, please just reach out and hit me up, because I promise you I won't have a problem. It's whether or not you want to get up and talk to the world with me. So have a blessed day. Have a wonderful tomorrow, and see you on Thursday.
You can't have my phone number unless we running up the digits. Let me meditate, I just need a couple minutes. Tryna low bomb me, my cojones to the big ass. Bitch, I get high. I ain't looking at the clock.